Welcome to Discover Las Vegas. I am your host, Priscilla Scott, Recreation Coordinator for the City of Las Vegas. We're super excited for our second Black History Month episode ever and of this month. And I will let you guys introduce yourselves, but I will start with Miss Cassandra.
Hi, my name is Cassandra Lewis. I am the coordinator for the Doolittle Active Adult Center.
I'm Travis Rich. I'm the Parks Maintenance Field Supervisor.
Latonya Lomax, Recreation Coordinator at Doolittle Community Center.
So this is so exciting. Thank you guys for joining us. We have definitely, we're super excited about our podcast in general because, as you all know, the city is very tight when it comes to like our image, and the Department of Parks and Rec having their own podcast is a really, really big deal, and it's an honor. So we're super excited. But what's even greater is the fact that we're celebrating 45 years of Black History Month celebrations. So tell us where it started.
Well, it started way before I came on board with the city of Las Vegas. So I've been with the city a little over 30 years. So I jumped in when I had the opportunity. But it's 45 years. We're celebrating 45 years this year. So I'm really excited about that as well.
What over the last 45 years has been like your favorite celebration?
So my favorite of all time has always been the midday inspirational showcase and luncheon. It is probably the biggest one that we do at this point, and it's been going on the longest for 35 years of those 45 at this point. So I'm super excited, super excited.
Okay. And how long ago did you take over? Because every memory I have of you has been you being in charge of Black History Month.
So that's not true. I've not always been in charge. I hopped on. Most of us here know Ingrid Williams, so I hopped on with her, and in her departing of 20 years ago, it's been about approximately 20 years ago, I took on the leadership in that role. So that's how I got it.
Yeah. And that falls in line because I started working with you in like 2006,
Hmm.
and you were
Yep,
already,
part
yeah.
of that.
And so I
Yeah.
always remember like every, like you're really good at like grabbing people even if they didn't ask. You're like good at just
Hmm.
grabbing people and saying, "Okay, can you help with this or can you do that?" Like there's never like any like pride or ego or like no, you can't help. Like it's not like that at all. So that was really cool. Tell us about your background though, before and outside of, 30 years.
So I originally started with the state. I used to work with special need kids at the state, and then from there, just started working part time with the city for the summer, and from part time with the city, my start with the city was at Stupac when Stupac was like had the dirt floors. So I have been even prior to my 33 years of full time, I've been part time probably another 10 before I got on full time just with summer camps, working part time. I remember we had the bus camp. I don't know about anybody else remember when we had the bus camp. We used to travel, we'd get the kids on the bus and go from site to site just to make sure that in the lower incomes had something to do for the summer. Take them on the bus to different centers and field trips and activities on the bus camp. So that's my start there into now the fabulous Doolittle Active Adult Center, which is I've been there for 13 years. I simply love it. Play with big adults, older adults, and try to enrich their lives and have a good time with them.
That's amazing.
Yes.
And then Tanya, how long have you been with the city?
I started with the city October 2003
Okay.
and worked through 2015 where I accepted a full-time position.
Okay.
Yes, long time, long time.
And so I know in the beginning of your career, you were pretty stationary at the building that you were at, and then you moved around a lot, and COVID kind of helped move you along in some of those. What has been your favorite assignment that you've had?
Oh, I'd have to say Doolittle now. um, because even with reservations and knowing it was going to be difficult, I still like a challenge. I loved every place I've worked. They've all been different in their own way, but Doolittle's my favorite.
Okay.
This Doolittle, not Tanya front desk Doolittle.
How did you get involved with the Black History Month celebrations?
I did not get involved until I became full time with the great Cassandra. And by the way, my favorite event is also the midday inspirational showcase. I remember helping Keisha as an hourly here and there with stuff, but Cassandra embraced me once I became full time CSR.
Yeah.
So I've been helping since 2015.
Okay. Travis,
Yes.
you're like joining the party late in the game. You're 45, but tell us about your background and your journey with the city of Las Vegas.
Yeah, so I'm born and raised here in Las Vegas and grew up working in construction and landscaping through high school and after high school, and decided to come to the city as a temporary employee and give it a shot. I love construction and fell in love with the city, and I've been here for over 18 years. So started in 2005 and raising my family here, and yeah, kind of worked my way around, in different roles, and currently up to a supervisor. So I'm having fun in that role now. And
Can you tell us a little bit about the teams that you oversee and kind of what their role with the department is?
yeah, so in the parks we have a trades group, and that's who I'm over. So we do plumbing, painting, concrete, playgrounds. So anything that's not grass and trees is kind of what we take care of. And so I have a small group of guys that every day we go out and work on those facilities.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. So obviously everybody here is like so different. but
Yes.
The main reason we're all here together is this year was actually my favorite because it all like came together, and it's like the perfect example of how our department has evolved.
Yes. Agreed.
Because over the years the Parks and Rec department gets like picked and pulled and prodded and then fused back together, depending on leadership. Sometimes we have a super department, other times we've had little departments. And in the last like 2 years we've absorbed cultural affairs and parks and grounds. So, and this year I remember when Tanya had reached out and she's like, Cassandra's building is being renovated. We've got all of the Black History Month celebrations coming up. Usually the committee puts on the Martin Luther King float for the parade, all these things. And she's like, we are all like stretched thin. We need help. And so Tanya and I both have the ability to talk like 90 miles an hour. And so we're like snapping pictures, we're sending stuff back and forth. And she's like, okay, you can help me with this. She's like, but technically Cassandra's over this. And so her and I are just like going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And we were in an all department meeting, and I'm like, I think this is above my skill level. I don't think I can hammer all this together. And you happen to be sitting across from us, and I was like,
But
hold on,
before we
be
saw
right back.
you, I'm like, you know what? We just need 3 pieces of plywood and we put them together with brackets. It'll be easy. And she was like,
If it was only that easy, yeah.
I'm like,
Right.
it's going to blow over in the middle of the parade. I don't know that you and I should be doing, like, my risk management is like, stop, stop, stop.
Google would have helped us through it. It would not have been half as amazing as what you came in and did. But
Thank you.
No,
yeah,
it
you
was,
were.
it
Oh
was
my God,
amazing.
so
Yeah.
grateful.
So I
welcome.
did. I was like, Travis, can I just borrow you for just one moment? And you came, you sat down with us, and I'm like, so this is what we need. And the parade is in
Immediately.
like 4 days.
Right. Yeah.
Immediately
Yeah. We were at a little mix
support
and
it, yeah.
mingle, and you
4
guys.
days. It was like 3, I think.
It was a Wednesday afternoon, and
Oh.
and my guys leave after Thursday, so we
Yeah.
we
Yes.
had about a day. Yeah. So we had about a day to throw a float together, which I didn't even know we did, and so it was phenomenal to get that put together. And
Yes, you guys were great. Oh
Worked
my
it out.
God, no idea.
But like no one, all the help that went into it, because obviously it was way bigger than us
Yes,
here.
yes.
Nobody ever hesitated. Nobody was like, I don't know, or who do I code it to, and just to see like so many people that just wanted it to be successful, and all of the different pieces coming together. And then when I had learned you were even working with people from outside of the department to put things together, I was just like, this is what it's supposed to do,
Yes.
is like
Absolutely.
bridge the gap and
Yes.
bring so many
Yes.
people together.
Definitely. Yeah.
So, what did your team do for us? Explain it for all of our viewers. And we'll put up pictures and videos because we've got plenty.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Before you go, let me say they went above and beyond because we asked for one thing and then we switched it and then we like kind of gave a side eye. He was like, "You want both?" And we're like, "Okay, sorry, go ahead."
Yeah, yeah, we were at a department mix and mingle, and it was just about over, and we were about to clean up, and Tanya and Priscilla asked if we could put together a float for the parade, and so they showed me some pictures of some ideas, and I quickly called a guy to go pick up the trailer because we needed to start as soon as we could, and yeah, I took those pictures and I sent them out to a handful of my guys and said, hey, if you guys could mill this over and come up with some ideas for tomorrow, and I'll have some ideas and we'll talk about it. So we met that Thursday morning, and everyone kind of went their ways and gathered materials and tools, and just met at the yard, and were able to build a 10-foot triangle out of wood that would be secure and anchored to the trailer, and then a staircase for children and elderly people to sit on, obviously needing to be safe as it's driving down the road. And everyone collaborated and got this built for the Martin Luther Day Parade. So it was pretty fun.
Yes, it
amazing.
was. Oh.
It was amazing. Yeah.
But even in the dealings throughout that, like having to reach out, like we needed a hitch, we needed the world, and even reaching out to you, like your vibes, your feedback was like, you don't know how much I appreciate it.
Thanks. Yeah, I have fun. I love
Yes,
being
yes.
busy and to help out, and couldn't say no. So yeah, it was great to the trades guys were phenomenal. I mean, that was a super windy day, and
Yes,
It was
we're
cold.
cold, and we were
Cold. Yes. I remember it being cold.
cutting a bunch of
Yeah.
wood and getting it put together. It was a great collaboration with the guys, and happy to do it.
Well, and once it was on the trailer, it was like 12 feet high. So when we went out to the yard, it didn't fit in any of the bays. So you guys are like in the freezing cold doing all of this, like out in the elements too. And I'm like, man, like nobody's like second guessing. Like everybody's just like, let's see how we can help. And then once you guys had been done like painting it, we moved it, all of that, then Cassandra brings in a whole other team to start like decorating and putting things together, and like it just flowed.
It gelled together, and the very end results of it was simply amazing. I just like to say kudos to both Latonya and Priscilla and Monique, who's not here, who took the lead on this. And when Latonya was telling me her ideas, I was like, okay, all right, okay, But we had so many compliments at the parade, and we are still getting good feedback. And it's because of the collaboration we did with the city team, not just the Black History Committee, not just with Doolittle, but with the entire city team that came together, made it work, made it happen, made us look good, made us proud, and the city probably couldn't be more proud of the product that we put out because it was simply one of the most amazing floats that we've done
you.
thus
Appreciate
far.
it. Yeah, the artwork was beautiful. It went together really well.
That was the first time I had ever participated in the parade. Like I've been to the parade so many times, but I've always just been in the crowd. And so it was a completely different experience, like from getting everybody in line, making sure that, like, watching how much goes, because the other part is driving a fully decorated float across town is not an easy task.
it's not.
Or
And
even just
so-
to park it in the garage.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
That was a whole thing too. And so like then to see, okay, everyone's coordinating like the kids and getting everybody on the float, and all the things that can't be on the float while it's on the freeway are getting attached like last minute,
yes.
because now it's like you're getting ready to enter, and then like the cars, everybody's got a number, and so everyone's entering off of different side streets, which is something I never knew, just
Yeah.
for that coordinated effort, because
Yes, it get crowded back there.
You can't
Yep.
line up 200 floats in a straight line
Yeah.
off of Las Vegas Boulevard
Boulevard.
and then have them slowly filter onto 4th Street. So there is so much on a larger global scale, even outside of just the small piece that we had, was just watching that whole thing was so impressive.
And YDSI was part of us as
Yes.
well. They also participated. So kudos to also to
Tara and her
Tara
batteries
Mhm.
included group. Yep.
and her batteries
They
included
brought all the
kids who also
teams.
Yes.
came out and walked with us. So it really was a
Yes.
collaboration of all
Mhm.
departments. So yeah.
And as always, Priscilla, thank you for being so helpful. I know I have some of the craziest ideas, and you are never one to be like, you're like, okay, this is crazy, but let's do it. So, thank you too. That was
I think over the years we've managed to find people that gel with each
Mhm.
other. That
Mhm.
might sound crazy to someone else, but it's all about surrounding yourself with people who are going to be like, okay, let's just rework that. Or how can we make this
Mhm.
successful versus just let me just pop that bubble.
yeah, yeah.
So, of all the years that you guys have been involved in floats, do you have a favorite float? Do you have an oopsie story? Do you have something memorable?
I mean, I think we got oopsie stories because if we did bloopers from trying to get it in the building to getting it to the site to getting the trailer to Doolittle. Oop, nope, let's take it to Travis. I mean, I think we got bloopers that we probably should consider doing next year because that would be funny. But this by far has been my favorite just because we worked with so many different departments and it was nice to see how supportive everybody was.
Mhm.
So for me, this was definitely my favorite.
Last year's float was nice
Yes,
as
it
well.
was.
I do believe it was really nice, but I think this year just took it to another
Yes.
level. So I would say every year
Mhm.
gets better. I can't even imagine, what next year's going to be like.
That's good.
Are your guys
A little more
planning
than a day's
already?
notice. Yeah.
You have a whole
Hey, we can
year.
plan.
Right.
Yeah.
Start
So
coming up with some
I
new
can't
stuff.
imagine what next year going to be like. But I would say these last 2 years have been really, really nice and well put together, especially this year.
Good deal. Thanks.
So, Travis, I saw you
Yes.
prepping earlier. What is your favorite Dr. King quote?
Ooh, I have a few. Well, in regards to the float, one of them from Dr. King is faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. And I felt like because we built a staircase and we had to have some vision and it took a lot of decisiveness from you guys to kind of tell us what you want, and then
Mhm.
our guys kind of just built it. And so I think just having that faith and building that staircase, it starts with the first step. So your vision was phenomenal and painted the picture and created the float.
I think your whole crew, respectfully, is probably married because there were times where you're like, do you want it this high or do you want, and I'm like, well, this is what I'm thinking. And you're
Yes,
like,
they knew.
okay, I got it.
Yeah. Yeah, they asked before they made a decision, right? Yeah.
And they just got a partial answer and still knew
How to
how
execute it.
to
Yeah.
execute it.
Mhm.
So I was like, and I remember Tanya and I went out there and we're like, can you do this? Or can you move it over here? Or how about you bolt it over there?
It did need a woman's touch for sure, right? You had to point out the little flaws and make it look good.
That staircase quote is pretty good.
It is. Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard it before.
I hadn't heard it before.
Mm-hmm. I've heard it before.
What else you got?
What, you want another quote?
Yeah.
Ooh, I think my favorite is darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. So I feel like that just in life, and especially with what he went through and the leadership he had and just being an American, it was just in his blood, to be a maverick and be a leader and just not take the status quo. I love that from Dr. King. I mean, I still have feelings this time of year from when I was a kid, being in library or elementary school and learning of him and the progress our country's made. And I feel like I have some of that, in myself, just to kind of question what you're being told and why. And he wanted what was right and did what was right. And it wasn't just a saying, it wasn't just a quote. It was what he lived and what he taught. And I think that progression that we've made is phenomenal as a country. You know, it takes a lot of skill to um, be an orator and communicate that to people and to lead as he did. And then to celebrate him, you know, on MLK Day with a float is, you know, my little piece or gratefulness and thankfulness for what he did.
But a lot of times it's that culmination of a bunch of little pieces that make like the really big pieces. Because without the little pieces, the rest of us have like nothing to stand on.
Yeah.
So that's really important. Is there like something that you try to, because every time I've seen you, you've always been like so positive, like
Yes.
so friendly,
Yes.
like good energy. So like what are like your everyday words to live by?
Um, I just think you know, my dad would always just say, you know, just be quiet and go to work. You know, my dad's a pretty silent, quiet guy and just a very consistent worker. He never made a lot of money. He still isn't a very skilled person, even today. I mean, he's still working like on a shovel, so he's a laborer, but he's very content as a person. But he always just said, work hard. And so I always, you know, as a kid, I got to go to work with my dad on construction sites, and um, you know, I was on a shovel and worked hard. And so I feel like the opportunities the city presents, like it's exciting to come to work and work with so many different talents and do something like this and just learning. And I feel like, yeah, just be quiet and go to work, you know, and so I have fun just learning every day and trying to grow as a person and yeah, gaining different skill sets as I go along.
Okay. What about you, Cassandra? Because you've made it 30 years.
Plus.
Yes,
And
I
before you answer that question, like y- some people, when they get to the end of their career, they sit in a corner and everyone else is just
Not
like
her.
praying and hoping that they leave. But you haven't done that. Like
Full speed.
full speed. And for years, like I've seen you actively try to hand off the things that you love to other people so that because you knew you wanted them to continue to. So how do you do that and have this attitude this many years later?
so every day that I get up, I just ask God to make this the best day, better than tomorrow, better than yesterday. So whatever today is, make it better than tomorrow. So that's how I keep going. But I will say that I love the community in which I service, and they're not just 89106. They're from all walks of life, all over the city: Henderson, Green Valley, Summerlin, Southern Hills. So when you get a group of people from all walks of life and you can love them the same, like Travis does, it makes a difference because you're not showing favoritism or you're not showing, oh, because this one has something or this one don't. But if you can love, I tell people to love people where they are. You don't have to love them more or less, just love them where they are. So if you love them where they are, then they'll respect you and they'll say, oh, you know, she is who she is, or they are who they are. So I just love them where they are. But I love the community in which I service. I can't express that enough. I love what I do, and I love the community that I service. I started when I first started. I told the Lord, I said, if you continue to bless me with my $5 that I started at, I will bless somebody else. So I always want to, even though sometimes I don't always agree, and we don't have to agree, we just have to work together and get along. I do like to let people shine. I like to let other people shine. It's not about me. It's not about what I'm doing. It's about building and letting other people develop their skills and their levels. So I think that helps me a lot.
What has been the biggest lesson you've learned from Cassandra?
Oh, let me think. I I feel like I pride myself. I'm already a hard worker, but as you just said, she is 30 plus years in and still has the same passion she had year one. So just watching her and all her great talents, like that is the biggest for me. At year 32, 33, I want to have the same passion that I had, coming into this. So
Yeah, that's pretty important because especially naturally, like take the city of Las Vegas off. Any entity, any organization, private, public, doesn't matter. There's highs and lows. You know, we've had the pandemic, we've had so many different things, and like to still love what you do through the highs and lows long term is a big deal. It is a really big deal.
Yeah. If you don't love what you do, I think people have said it over and over. You know, find something you love, and then you're not working. So, but if you don't love what you do, then it becomes work. And I love what I do. I think
Yeah,
we all love what
agreed.
we do. So it becomes, and there's that. I don't know if it's competition or if I see something I want to make it better for the next time. I'm already thinking, how can I make it better next time? You know, how can I make it I call what I give my seniors the experience. How can I give them a better experience for the next time? How could I, we were just talking about, I went from 10 to 17 to 26 today, um, because they're waiting for those experiences. It's not about, where they are, it's the experiences that you give them. So I think giving people better experiences, and if I can find a way to build on that, man. And if I think we all, just the city in general, if we could teach um, the ones that are coming in behind us, you got to build on giving the quality of experience. It can, no matter whether it's in the building or out of the building, it's the experience that you offer people that they're going to remember.
And like the impact, because even, when in the beginning when we were talking and throughout, we've all kind of had to step into each other's shoes at some point in life. Like one of my first full-time experiences when I was 20 years old, I was your rec leader. Like I worked under Cassandra in this trailer at Gibson, right? But I was also at Stupac. And you had been there years before me, and the programs you started there, then it was my responsibility to like carry them on, and I got to help transition into the new building. And then years later, you are now running programs at Stupac, and it's like all of this happens. You're getting ready to graduate the lead program, and that's a program that I'm very, very passionate about, that I've been involved in for several years. And so at some point, no matter how minimal it
Mhm.
might seem, going back to what you were talking about, those little pieces, like we're all intertwined
Yes.
and we all end up in each other's shoes at some point. And that, like, walking on giants type of environment is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's been great to come full circle, especially with the lead program. I got a tour of the Henderson facilities a few weeks ago, and we live out there, so we went to the Henderson Multi-Gen and the Dollar Loan Center, and it was just amazing to go see the back rooms and behind the scenes with the rec and arts, and that's where I've taken my kids even since they were little. So it was great just to see the inner workings of what you guys do and the rec and arts um, and just be there to experience that and see that side of things.
It's funny that you're getting the rec experience now, and we got the parks experience during COVID. Because
Oh,
that, I will tell you, COVID, like, it changed for the better, right? Because
yes.
even though we're one department, everybody's jobs are so different in between our different divisions that during COVID, for those of you who are out there and not aware, we office folks went out and helped keep the parks clean because that was the only place people could go. So parks went from seeing a couple of hundred people a day to thousands of people daily, and the maintenance teams couldn't keep up. It was way too much. One park alone might have over 200 trash cans,
Yeah.
and they're all overflowing and they're all full, and there's not enough manpower. And to see, like, when we first got out there, we're like, wait, like, this is like an everyday year round
Yeah.
position, like
Yes.
when it's triple digits.
Like,
And
well, May is almost here, so I got about 2 more days in me. After April 30th, I'm done. It's too hot out here.
we had such an appreciation for
Yes.
your teams
Yes.
after we had to work out in the parks, and we're like, this
Yeah.
is not
Yeah.
an easy job.
I don't get to go back into the rec center, and yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely out in the
Yes.
public eye, out
Yes.
in the elements, and very monotonous. I mean, every day it's crazy how much trash can
Yes.
accumulate if people don't
Yes.
pick up their litter and just the use in the parks.
And some of the citizens weren't always the kindest. They assumed we were like,
Community service, like
because we'd been
court
arrested.
assigned. Yes. I felt like okay, take this vest because they think I'm with the courts.
And they were like so rude. And I'm like, is this how they treat the parks guys
No,
normally
they
too?
loved them. I needed a maintenance shirt. I needed a shirt with my name.
I think it depends on which park you went to too.
Okay.
So, because sometimes once again dealing with the homeless and trying to make sure that they don't tear up or defecate or whatever, burn themselves up, because we had that happen as well in our parks, so that the children and families can come out and enjoy. So that kudos to you guys, because we're always out in the well. I'm always out there bossing.
I was gonna
homeless
say, but
around
you
too.
have a relationship with them. They come. They
I
like
have a
try to
I
visit her. They love her.
I have a relationship with my homeless. I figure if
Yeah.
I might as well have them
Yeah.
on my team rather than not having them on my team. And when something go wrong,
look out, yeah.
you can bet they're gonna come and let me know. So I do have a relationship with
That's
the
great.
homeless.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been great. And again, like what better time to like celebrate everybody coming together than this time of the year.
Yeah.
And there's just so much love between the departments that have all come together to form one. Like I will say, like, there is no department like Parks and Rec.
There isn't.
We
I
have
agree.
like 30 small businesses. We have 80 parks, 80 plus parks. I know you guys are building and opening new ones every day, but our our work lives is what everybody runs to do in their spare time
Yes.
in some way, whether it's an indoor function or an outdoor function or an event. So we really are super, super fortunate to get to do what we get to do. I'm a little biased, but we are the best department to work for.
Yeah, I love what we do too.
Yeah. Agreed.
I
Agreed.
agree.
Absolutely agreed.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up, one of the questions that we love to ask everybody is, if you were to look back at the beginning of your career, what advice would you give a young professional coming in, to 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, ahead of their career? So what advice would you give? Who wants to go first?
Mine is what I kind of feel like I preached today. Take pride in your work, and then it will speak for itself. Um, and advice I would have given myself personally is, girl, take the leap. Because I struggled leaving Clark County School District to come full time, so that was a struggle. But man, if I had done it even earlier, yeah.
Okay.
I think for me, what came to mind was be patient. I started as a temporary employee, and then I was praying and praying I could get hired full time, and I did. And I was a maintenance worker for a few years, and I knew I had more experience from the outside and growing up in this field. And every time you got passed on a promotion, I was a little disheartened, but I just kept plugging away. And I feel like that's the same thing for a lot of our new workforce. Like, they're young and they're ambitious, and I just tell them, be patient. Like, these opportunities are coming up. I can't believe I've worked my way up to a supervisor and in my short time with the city, but the city has so many opportunities, and I love it, and I'm grateful for it. And I've just grown so much as a person. And so I feel like if I was to tell, these younger folks, no matter their age, but in the city, just be patient. There's so many opportunities, and there are plenty.
I agree. I would say to the younger ones coming in, there's always a starting point, but you don't have to stay there. So I always tell people to look where you are and see where you want to imagine. You can't imagine where you could go, but it's going to take hard work, dedication, and you're just going to have to, push, push, push. And doors don't always open when you think they're going to open, but they're open for you when you're ready, when God is ready for them to open. So once again, like Travis said, be patient, hard work, dedication, and keep pushing.
I just want to add also a very wise man by the name of Phil Thompson said to me once, and it stuck with me because it rings so true and it kind of goes hand in hand with what you guys are saying. Um, every day you show up to work, it's like you're interviewing, like you're showcasing your skills, you're showing your dedication and your hard work. And I think that gets you to where you need to be also.
And I also think that we have to be an example.
Yes.
I don't ask
To do
my
anything.
staff, whether part time, full time, to do anything that I would not do.
Absolutely.
And I try to lead by an example. So, and I tell everybody that said, I started at $5. That's my story, and it's true. It's 30 some years ago, but you know, young mother of two, um, you can do it. I mean, you just have to be patience, dedication, hard work. Let people see you for what you do, not for what you say.
That's really important. I always look back and I'm like, you have to treat people with dignity because sometimes you can tell, and I wasn't always that way. Like when someone is moving up, I now, where I am now, can see where it's someone that's inexperienced that maybe just grew up and it's that abuse of power, like that air. And it's just natural, right? They don't have to be a bad person to do it. But sometimes the simplest job, we don't treat it with dignity. And everybody has a piece of that pie. And you just never know. I have a friend who says all the time, it helps to have friends in high and low places. Like you have to treat everybody with the utmost respect and you have to value what they do no matter what it is. And throughout the years, it's valuing other people and their individual roles that has helped me get to where I am today and just treating people with dignity, whether they're a homeless patron in the park or, a kid who's setting off stink bombs in your building or a director who has to make a very difficult decision or an elected official who is up against it. Like you just don't recognize like all of the different things that people have to go through, and it's that dignity that's really important. But I really appreciate all of you spending your time with us today, joining us on Discover Las Vegas, and more importantly, just everything that you guys do, not just for the Black History Committee and the parade, but just on a day-to-day, every day, serving the community and the city of Las Vegas. This is Discover Las Vegas.